Welcome back. We now have part two, which will be about the spiral curriculum concept of Jerome Bruner. Of course, we just finished the learning modes or the representations earlier. And just to review, inactive is learning through movement and action. So, babies, toddlers, they would play with a book, touch it. No? That's why there are books with a lot of interactive things to do for young learners. And then as they become preschoolers or early graders, they move to the more iconic. They learn through images and icons. And so you see children, they're actually looking at the pictures. They're reading the pictures. So it's more of the pictures. And then later on, they become symbolic in their representation. As you can see, they learn through symbols, abstract symbols, and that is now really reading words, paragraphs, writing essays, and of course, doing research. Okay, so we go to the second main concept, and this is the spiral curriculum. According to Bruner, teaching should always lead to boosting the cognitive development. Why did Bruner say this? No, it's not effective for the teacher to explain and to make students learn in a way that is based on her own level of understanding. The teacher should always try to find out where the learners are in their understanding and then start from there and carry them on a higher level, thereby increasing their ability to understand and to have a clear understanding of what it is they want or he wants them to learn. Okay. So the next one is that teachers must revisit the curriculum. So how do you bring the students at a higher level of understanding? No? So what Bruner believed is that we should revisit the curriculum. How? By teaching the same content in different ways depending on the student's developmental task. This is the reason why you'd probably say, why do we have Rizal in college? We already studied Jose Rizal in grade school. And then in high school, there's also Rizal. And then now in college, there's still Rizal. So what is the reason behind this? Because ideally, the purpose of having Rizal in all those levels of different grade levels is that we should revisit learning about Rizal in in a different way, in a higher level each time. So maybe in grade 1, you're just, siya ang pambansang bayani. Siya ay ipinanganak noong ika-11 ng Hunyo. Okay, but as you progress, you go and analyze his works and maybe look into his views of our country and what we should do for our country and all of that. So that is an example of revisiting a certain topic each time at a higher level and each time in a different way depending on the student's level. Okay, so this is what he called spiraling curriculum. So you see here, you have addition as something you learn in math, and it is taught in grade 1, in grade 2, in grade 3. But there is repetition, but instruction must be concerned with the experiences and context that make the student willing to learn. So if in grade 2, they start again to review what you had in grade 1, and the grade 2 student has more confidence because the grade 2 student remembers, oh, I learned this already. Yes, I know this. So that will give the student readiness to go on a higher and more complicated, more complex levels in learning addition. And it is important that whatever you will teach, you structure it in such a way that can easily be grasped by the learners. No? So you remember here Gestalt psychology, no? You look into the organization, the patterns in what you are presenting because the brain will also understand it and the brain will look for patterns in learning something. No? So here you revisit, you repeat, and therefore there is a sense of pattern and orderliness to it. So In junior high school now, in our K to 12 curriculum, you will see here from grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, and grade 10, you would see the spiraling. Each grade level would have chemistry, biology, earth science, and physics. And you will see in grade 8, it will be the same. That's why we say it is spiraling. Yeah? So I'm sure probably some of you already experienced this. And then as you go to grade 9, moving on to grade 10, it's the same science disciplines. But each time there is an increase in the complexity and also in the topics that are covered. And Bruner believed that as this is done, whatever you learn in grade 7, you revisit it in grade 8. So now you get what's there already from grade 7 and you add to it. And you say, oh, wow, yeah, this is chemistry. I have an idea already. And then when you go to grade 9, again, you move into chemistry, earth science, physics, biology. And so it's not like before during our time. We only have biology in first year, or was it in second year? Then never again, unless you have it in college. Chemistry back then was third year. Then after that, no more. No? So how will we construct? How will we build information more about chemistry? It's just 1 year. But now in every year level, they learn these sciences. Grade 8, they revisit again these sciences. Grade 9 and grade 10. So that is the essence of the spiral curriculum. You get to revisit it and therefore construct more understanding, discover more learnings as you revisit the subject matter. Okay? So here we also see that you also do a spiraling in uh, considering the standards. No? So if it is, let's say you have the standard of being able to write an essay, in the upper level, it can still be writing an essay, but this time maybe uh, a different set of vocabulary, a different form of essay. So it's the same thing. You have expectations for students, you have content and standard performance, and then you use certain instructional practices and then reflection, then you modify it, and then as the grade goes up, it's the same thing. You have standards, but this time they become more complex. Okay, so that is why we say the student learning spiral. Okay, so we see that as we spiral, as I've mentioned earlier, the difficulty level also goes up. So there's new content, then there's revision, and then there's mastery, and then it can be introduced again at a different level. You add new content, there's revision, and then there's mastery. So that is the essence of a spiral curriculum. And of course, a lot of studies have shown that this is a good way of helping children learn. That is why it is now adapted by our K to 12 curriculum. There is spiraling in math, there is spiraling in science, and even in preschool, we revisit the themes that the students learn. So that came from Bruner, no? The initial view on the spiraling curriculum as an important approach in constructivism, how we construct knowledge over on top of what we already know. Okay, so this is Bruner's spiral curriculum concept. Okay, so there will again be a question there. You try to think about it, and where we're in class, we'll be able to apply all these concepts. Bye for now.